Just when you look at something and you say, ah, what a joke. How stupid. How ridiculous. Think of it like
Okay.
that. Maybe, well, let me see what the other example was. Because if I thought using the movie would be a good example, but maybe we can do a different example. Okay, let's try this one because this one seems to be more easily understood. I'm just going to change the example. I thought film would be the best example, but I guess not. Okay. Can you read my new example?
I got it. The unfair trial was a travesty of justice.
Okay, what does that mean? The unfair trial was a travesty of justice.
Like the judge was not fair in his sentence.
In his decision.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
everybody
in
said,
his decision.
"Oh, that's ridiculous. How stupid." Almost so much that you could laugh at it.
Like serial killers don't go to prison, they go to hospital
Yeah. Yeah,
instead
well,
of prison.
some people might consider that.
Mental hospital.
Yeah, some people might consider that to be a travesty of justice. That's true. Okay, that's the idea. All right. Read this sentence again, Mohammed.
The unfair trial was a travesty of justice.
Okay. Now I'm just going to pronounce this word here, and I want you to pay attention to all of the sounds in the middle of that word. Trial. Trial.
Tri- Trial,
Trial.
trial.
Because, one syllable finishes with a vowel sound, and the next syllable starts with a vowel sound. So you always have to repeat the original vowel sound. So you say try, that ends with an E sound. So you repeat that E. Trial. You have to separate the two vowel sounds.
Trial,
Trial.
trial.
Okay. All right. Pachu, the first three words of this sentence are, well, let's do one, two, three, four, five. Let's do the first five words. Repeat these words, Pachu. The unfair trial was a.
The unfair trial was a
Okay, that's right. But now, how do you pronounce the? If unfair starts with a vowel sound, how should you pronounce the?
the unfair.
Okay, but is it the or the?
Is it
That's right.
the
It
unfair?
has to be big. The unfair
The unfair,
trial was a. Say it again.
the unfair trial was a
Okay, and you're right. It should be was a because those are not going to be important words. What are the important words in that phrase?
unfair
Okay,
and trial.
when you say unfair, which syllable has all of the sound? Unfair.
uh, unfair, unfair,
Mhm.
pair,
Listen to me say it. Where do you hear all the sound? Unfair.
un,
Un.
unfair.
The fair sounds like it's the important one because of the R. You have to because you have to pronounce the the vowel sound extra long because of the R. And that's why it sounds like it's the accented syllable, but it's not. It's un. The unfair.
Yeah, yes, the unfair.
Unfair. And what about trial? Is that also an important word?
Yes,
Okay. And which syllable gets all of the attention? Trial.
trial, trial,
Trial.
yell, yell.
Trial. Which one?
Try. Try.
Try. Okay. Okay. So, can you say the unfair trial was a
The unfair trial was a
okay. Mohammed, can you say that? The unfair trial was a
The unfair trial was a
okay. That's good. And can you read the final three words of that sentence, Mohammed?
tra- travesty of justice.
Okay, listen to my North American A. Treya. How many sounds are in there? Treya.
A Treya.
Treya.
Three,
Treya.
two,
Three.
three, okay.
Treya.
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 Travesty.
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 Okay. What are the important words in that phrase? Travesty of justice.
Travesty and justice.
And in the word travesty, which word has all of the power? Or which syllable?
First syllable.
First syllable. Okay. How about in justice? Which syllable has all of the power?
Justice.
Justice is the first.
No,
Go ahead.
first.
First.
Okay.
Okay.
First.
So it sounds like this: travesty of justice.
Travesty of justice.
Hmm. The unfair trial was a travesty of justice.
The unfair trial. The unfair trial was a travesty of justice.
Hmm. Muhammad, Pachu, can you say travesty of justice?
travesty of justice.
The unfair trial was a travesty of justice.
The unfair trial was a travesty of justice.
Okay, how many phrases are in that sentence?
So the unfair trial
Okay,
is the first,
all right.
and the next is was a travesty of justice.
Okay, and how do you want to sound when you say this, the first phrase? Do you want to sound serious or do you want to sound nice and friendly?
And a serious
Serious? So, how will you say the word trial?
is a low tone.
Okay,
Trial,
trial,
trial
trial, trial. How will you start your phrase?
is a high. Unfair trial.
Unfair trial.
Unfair trial.
Hmm. The unfair trial.
The unfair trial.
Mohammed, can you say that? The unfair trial.
The unfair trial.
Okay, and how would you like the second phrase to sound, Mohammed? Serious.
Serious.
Okay, so how will you pronounce the word justice?
Serious.
Okay, so low, low, justice,
Yes.
justice. How will you start the phrase?
Was a travesty of justice.
Travesty, we start high. Travesty of justice.
Was a travesty of justice.
The unfair trial was a travesty of justice.
The unfair trial was a travesty of justice.
Panchu, can you say that? A travesty of justice.
A travesty of justice.
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 The unfair trial was a travesty of justice.
The unfair trial was a travesty of justice.
Travesty or Travesty.
Travesty.
Try again.
The unfair trial was a travesty of justice.
Okay. Uh, let's see. Pachu, can you make a why travesty of justice question?
Why was a trial travesty of justice?
Again?
Why was trial a travesty of justice?
Okay, you have to use the word the when you say trial because it's a noun.
Okay. So why was the trial a travesty of justice?
Why was the trial a travesty of justice? And what is the most important word in your question?
Why?
So it should be longer and bigger. Why?
Why?
How would you say why plus was plus the?
Why was the?
Why was the? Why was the?
Why was the? Why was the?
Why was the trial?
Why was the trial?
Why was the trial a travesty of justice?
Why was the trial travesty of justice?
Again,
Why was the trial travesty of justice?
a travesty of justice.
Travesty of justice.
Again,
Why was the trial travesty of
you're
justice?
forgetting the word a. You have in front of a noun, you have to always put a or the if it's countable and singular or something like that. It doesn't have to be a or the. It could be many things, but usually a or the. So it's a travesty of justice, not travesty of justice. You have to say a.
Yes. Okay. So why was the trial travesty of why was the trial a travesty of
There you
justice?
go. Yeah, you have to do that. Okay. Mohammed, can you make a why question?
Why it was a travesty of justice.
You can say it if you want, but you have to use the question form.
Why did it was a travesty of justice?
Uh, I'm going to write your original question. Why it was a travesty of justice. This is actually not a question. This is a sentence. It's a statement. You have to use the question form. Can you fix that? How do you make a question with was?
Why was it?
Yeah, that's right. Not does. Because
But I see people say it like this. Why it was when they are speaking.
when what?
I see in normal conversation they say it was out making the question first,
No,
like why
no,
it was.
no. Okay, well, here, let me show you. All right, so this is a question. Let's see. Why it was a travesty of justice pertained to the judges. Well, that, I don't want to get too fancy. Uh, was explained in the newspaper. This is a statement, okay? You're using the question word why, and that gets confusing for people. You see that question word why and you think it's a question, but this is not asking a question. This is giving an explanation. And it's not a question, it's a sentence.
Okay.
The thing that makes well, let's put numbers on this. The thing that makes number 1 a question is the position of was. And because you're not asking a question in number 2, do you understand that number 2 is giving an explanation and not asking for an answer?
Yes.
So it's of course, you could see number two in many different ways, but it's never for a question, unless the person is wrong, unless maybe they're making a mistake. Because if you want an answer,
Okay.
you have to make the question form. Does that make sense? Is that pretty clear?
Yes.
Okay. So, what is our question?
Why was it a travesty of justice?
Okay. So, if we say why, and what is your most important word in that question?
Why?
Why? Why was it?
Why was it?
Why was it a?
Why was it a?
Why was it a travesty of justice?
Why was it a travesty of justice?
Okay. And tell me because they sent the serial killer to a hospital.
Because they sent the serial killer to a hospital.
Okay. Tell me the whole thing. It was a travesty of justice because they sent the serial killer to a hospital.
It was a travesty of justice because they sent the serial killer to the hospital.
The serial killer or the serial killer?
The the serial killer.
Tell me again.
It was a travesty of justice because they sent the serial killer to the hospital.
The serial killer or the serial killer?
The serial killer.
Hmm. Tell me again.
Because they sent the serial killer to the hospital.
They or they?
They
They. Try again.
because they sent the serial killer to the hospital.
Okay. Pachu, why was it a travesty of justice?
Yes, so uh, it was travesty of justice
It
because they sent uh,
the serial
uh,
killer
serial killers, serial killers, serial killers to hospital.
to the hospital to the in front of a countable noun you have to put something always unless it's plural. So it could be the, this, that, those, but it has to be something. You have to put something in front of the noun. To the hospital.
Yeah, I have problem because generally I don't care about when speaking.
I get it.
It is ridiculous, yeah, but to
Mm,
acknowledge it, yeah,
yeah.
because but I have to pay attention. Yeah,
Yeah, all
yes,
countable nouns, unless they're plural, all countable nouns will have something in front of it.
yeah. The article and the prepositions are very difficult
Hmm.
to identify when or where to use or not. Yeah, and if I improve this, then my score will be high, I think.
Okay. All right, let's take a look at our final word for today.